How many times in your life you felt obliged to say yes to someone or something you really didn't want, feeling an invisible pressure that forces you to accept against your will? You accept to go on a drink with that distant friend even though you need to study. You buy whatever item on the street from the salesperson who gives you a free sample. Or when you receive a gift, you feel you owe to the person. Many psychological reasons come into play, but the one I will cover here is the principle of reciprocation. So what is reciprocation? It's the human phenomenon where we deeply feel we need to repay or return a favor of any type to the person that has provided us with one. We are wired to pay back favors and treat others the way they treat us. This feeling can even push up to provide discounts or concessions, and science is very clear about this. Humans innately hate to feel indebted to others. It has long-standing roots in the human psyche and is applied cross-culturally. Our ancestors learned to share their food and skills with the confidence that it's not going to be lost, which resulted in mutually beneficial exchanges, integrating the principle of reciprocation into our daily lives. And so, why does it make you say yes? Let's look at the example of gifts. When you receive one from whoever gave it to you, you have a feeling of debt towards the person to give them back another gift in the future, thus creating a gift dynamic. Now, that's quite a caring gesture that comes with joy and pleasure when it's family, relatives, or other people you care about. However, when it's a stranger in the street or somebody you don't really know or someone you just met for the first time, you will feel discomfort because ultimately you know that the favor needs to be repaid back, creating an expectation that you don't want to deal with. For most people, it happens so fast that they just say yes. They don't want to deny the other person's act of generosity, as we are wired to feel external shame and judgment. And in the future, we might even end up returning the favor with a higher value than what we received. The danger here is that some people actually exploit this human feature to obtain what they want. Politicians, salespersons, whether physical or on the phone, your date on the first time when they take you for dinner. So next time when somebody offers you something, think consciously for a second and make a better decision. Another effect in the same line is called reciprocal concession. Just last week I was in Morocco. A little boy came to me selling hats for €5. I didn't need any hat, so I said, no thank you. He then offered to sell me a sweet for €1. I don't eat sugar, so I don't need that neither, but I still bought it. Declining the first request, the €5 hat, made it harder for me to decline the second, the €1 sweet, and kind of made it natural for me to say yes. First big demand is asked and might not even be expected to be met. Makes then place for a second demand that appears small in comparison and will likely be conceded. Plus it was a kid, so the emotions factor magnified the effect. This actually intersects with what's called the contrast principle that I will cover in another video. Now, how do we use reciprocation in our favor? This is a very powerful rule that is innate in us, but does it mean we are powerless to its strength? Surely not. Once we understand its mechanics, we can have the ability to say no without feeling guilt or shame because we are aware of the underlying process. The important here is to effectively discern when it happens and correctly evaluate the intention of the counterpart so we can minimize the exploitation and undeserved concessions. If you feel you are being tricked or exploited, you can totally accept the favor and decide not to return any favor back, as the initial favor was made specifically to make you pay back. So just accept the service, the gifts, or the kindness in that case. If it's genuine, then of course accept and feel free to pay it back. If you're unsure, either simply decline so you get rid of any expectations, or again, accept consciously, realizing that the feeling of debt is only there because of the reciprocation rule and that you have no obligation to fulfill it. So this is a really interesting phenomenon that has been around for thousands of years, if not more. Once we understand it, we feel free and light, as the weight of expectation is quite heavy. Most of us relate to it in our daily lives, but now we are better equipped to react to gifts when they arise in the future. Feel free to drop a comment of how and when this happened to you, and don't hesitate to subscribe if you like this content. See you on the next video.